It was a moonless night when I started the drive. Around 2 years ago, I had attended a family reunion in a small countryside town, the kind where the houses were spread apart like scattered teeth, where the air smelled of wet earth and forgotten memories. It had gone on longer than expected, and by the time I left, the clock on my dashboard read 11:41 p.m. I didn't stay the night. I had work early the next morning, and something about sleeping in my uncle's musty guest room, which smelled oddly like dried lavender and something metallic, didn't sit right with me. The road back home was a 2-hour stretch of state highway, winding through thick woods and empty stretches of farmland. No streetlights, no buildings, just me, my car, and miles of twisting, unlit road, flanked by forests that swallowed sound and spat out shadows. About 45 minutes into the drive, an unexpected and unnatural wave of tiredness hit me. Not the kind that creeps in, but the kind that slams into your skull like a sledgehammer. My head grew heavy, and the lines on the road started to blur together, dancing like spectral ribbons. I slapped my face, rolled down the windows, but nothing helped. I needed to sleep, even for just a few minutes. But there were no gas stations, no motels, not even a wide enough shoulder to pull over safely. After another few miles of desperate searching, I made a reckless decision. There was a small grassy patch behind some tall bushes on the right side. It was barely visible unless you knew where to look. I pulled over, turned off the engine, and let the darkness wrap around me. I checked the time, 11:22 p.m. I locked the doors, reclined the seat, and drifted off. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It was faint, almost like branches brushing against the side of the car. I opened my eyes halfway, still caught between dreams and wakefulness. The clock blinked, 11:50 p.m. I stared out into the darkness, listening. Nothing. I must have imagined it. Just wind or a fox or a raccoon. I was too tired to care. I closed my eyes again. This time it was louder. Closer. Screech! Scratch. Scratch. My eyes snapped open. My mouth was dry. I didn't move, didn't breathe. 12:40 a.m. This wasn't a branch. This wasn't an animal. The sound was deliberate, rhythmic, like something dragging claws or nails across the side of the car just beneath the window. My heart pounded. I reached for my phone, but I had no signal. I sat up slowly and looked into the rearview mirror. At first, there was nothing, just blackness. Then, a blur. Someone darted into the woods just out of the reach of my taillights. A tall, thin shape, pale, fast. My gut twisted. Every childhood fear I'd ever buried clawed its way back to the surface. For a split second, I remembered an old urban legend, the one about the hook-handed killer. A couple pulls off on a dark road, and the guy hears a noise. He gets out. He never comes back. I wasn't about to be that guy. I started the engine and floored it. Less than a minute later, I approached a bend on the road. Just around the curve, parked awkwardly on the shoulder, was an old, beat-up Buick. Driver's side door wide open. No lights, no movement. I slowed, not stopping, just enough to glance in. The car was empty, or looked empty. I checked my rearview mirror. Nothing. Then, movement. A figure came sprinting around the bend behind me, arms pumping wildly, mouth open in a silent scream. His face was pale, eyes wide and wild. He looked straight at me and shouted, "Hey, you! Get the fuck out of the car! Now!" There was something wrong about the way he ran. Not drunk, not panicked, desperate, as if he was running from something rather than to me. I didn't wait to ask. I gunned the engine and sped off. Gravel kicking up behind me. In the mirror, I saw him drop to his knees in the road, screaming something I couldn't hear. I drove non-stop until I hit the outskirts of a small town. A 24-hour diner still had its neon lights flickering. I pulled in, parked under the glow of a sodium lamp, and stepped out for the first time since I left that grassy patch. As I walked around to stretch my legs, I noticed something that made my stomach turn. Long, thin scratch marks. Deep ones. Along the rear passenger door. They weren't random. They were parallel, as if made by human fingernails or something with claws. But worse was the symbol near the handle. 3 intersecting lines forming a triangle with a vertical slit through the middle. Carved. Not scratched, carved with intention. Something ancient. Something ritualistic. I took photos, told myself I'd report it later. I never did. I ordered coffee, sat at the far end of the diner, still shaking. That's when I noticed him. A man, maybe in his 50s, wearing an old forest ranger's jacket, sitting in a corner booth, staring at me. He didn't blink, didn't smile. When the waitress brought my coffee, she leaned in and whispered, "You parked in them woods, didn't you?" I froze. "What?" She nodded toward my car. "That scratch mark on your door? Same one showed up on a truck last month. Guy was never found, not even his clothes." I didn't respond. The ranger stood up slowly and walked over to my table. "You saw it, didn't you?" I didn't answer. "You're lucky you didn't open the door. Most people do when they hear the scratching." I stayed at a motel that night, door locked, curtains drawn. But sleep never came. In the moments when I closed my eyes, I saw it. That pale shape running into the woods, those eyes, wide, black, soulless. In the days that followed, I scoured the internet, trying to find answers. Some theories said it was a Wendigo, others said skinwalker, or a local legend about the forest beckoner, a creature that mimics distress to lure people out of their vehicles. But what disturbed me most were the stories that mentioned the symbol. Always the same triangle, always carved into metal or bone, always after a scratching sound in the middle of nowhere. 2 months later, I received a voicemail from an unknown number. I didn't recognize the voice. It was a man, maybe in his 30s. He sounded breathless, terrified. "If you're getting this, please don't ignore it. You need to leave. It marks people. That thing, it doesn't kill you right away. It watches, waits, marks, spreads. Don't sleep near trees. Not ever again." Then static. Then a whisper. One word. My name. It's been 2 years. I haven't driven that road again. I don't go near forests. I don't sleep in my car. And every so often when it's quiet, I hear the scratching again. In my dreams. Or worse, from outside my bedroom window.